One of the tutorials that we're going to work on this week is working with masks. And masks can be a little confusing because what we're going to do is we're going to put an object over an image. In this case, we're going to make it look like a set of binoculars. And everything outside that object is going to be covered, and only what's inside the image will be shown. Think of it as looking through a pair of binoculars, similar to looking at a pair of binoculars, or putting a spotlight on something and you see whatever's in the spotlight. Masks have a lot of different uses. You can probably think of a few things to do with masks outside of this, and what I want you to do is try and be creative when you do your mask project or you do your mask assignment this week. What I did was I found a picture of Monterey on the web, and it's just a JPEG. The larger the image, obviously the bigger the file size. So this is a pretty standard average size image. I didn't have to resize it or anything. The quality's not that great, but for our purposes it'll be fine. What I'm going to do is I put it on the first layer. You can see it right here. I'm going to go out to frame 100. I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to insert a frame. I'm going to add another frame, and you'll notice I'm going to lock the first frame down because we're not going to play with it anymore. We're just going to use it for our mask. I'm going to go into the second frame, and I'm going to actually come over here and I'm going to make a circle. And I'm going to just make one circle. I'm going to copy that and paste another one. It threw itself over here in the center. I'm going to throw them together. I'm going to select them both, and I'm just going to go ahead and break them apart because I want them to be joined together. If I put one on without breaking them both apart and joining them, it's not only one circle will work, both won't work. So we've got to combine them. You might think, well, I can group them both. It's still not going to work. We don't need two separate objects. We need one object together. Masks also aren't going to work on a bitmap. Bitmaps won't work for a mask. Also, anything that's broken apart won't work. So they've got to be grouped to be used. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and put this here. I'm going to insert a frame, let's say at 25, insert a keyframe, and I'm going to move that over to here. And then let's say at 45, I'm going to insert another keyframe, and I'm going to move this one. So you know what I'm doing right now is I'm going to set up my motion tweening, and then I'm going to make it a mask. And then I'm going to insert one more frame right here at let's say 65. Insert a key, right mouse click, and insert a key frame there, and then I'm just going to take this one over here. If I want to keep it, straight, I'll just hold the shift key and it'll move it over. Then the last frame I want to come in, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to say insert keyframe, but then I'm going to come over here to my free transform tool, and I'm going to make this, well, first I'm going to move it to the center, roughly what I think is the center, and then I'm going to make it larger. We're going to have to move it around a little. I'm going to hold the shift key down so I get both of these. And what I want to do is kind of give the illusion that we're zooming out on this picture. Okay. If I want, I break these apart and overlap them, which probably would be a better idea. So let me go ahead and do that. Sometimes we think about these things and then it's, kind of a little too late. It's already broken apart. So let's see if I can just select. Whoops. I just want to select one. See, they're joined, so I'm going to have to come in here and do this little crud. That won't be so bad because we'll just throw that like that. So it'll look like basically they're a set of binoculars where the eyes are overlapping. And we're going to enlarge them a little bit so what we see now, and probably I will want to do that in the beginning and not right at this late game, but we'll see how it turns out. Oh, let's go back. I forgot to group those again. Make sure they're grouped. Alright, so now I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to right mouse click, create motion tween. I'm going to do the same thing, right mouse click in the middle, create motion tween, same thing here, create motion tween, and then right here I'm going to create motion tween as well. Let's see what happens. Scrub that. See, that's the problem, is because these are two separate items, what's happening is I'm not going in and using this original drawing here. I've created a new one and it's not going to give me the same effect. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to get rid of this, go back in, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit this insert keyframe like that, and then just make it larger. So I want you to see what's going on, more importantly how to do the mask more than anything, and then we can go back in and make our adjustments. But once you see what's going on, you'll have a better idea. Okay, I'm going to right mouse click this and hit mask. So what happens is this layer now is under the mask layer, and notice what happens. We see our drawing here, and if we wanted to move this we can. It's no big deal. We can just click on this and move it over so that we can get a better idea, you know, make it more centered. It's not that big a deal, but you know, we want it to kind of have a realistic look. So if we go in now and test the movie, let's do that. Test movie. You'll notice everything that we set up is outside the mask, and now when we get larger, you'll see that it goes ahead and shows everything that's masked right now. So what we see now is the mask, and it looks like a set of binoculars, and then we see the mask get larger, so we're actually making it bigger. I want it to stop. So one of the things I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go and put an action on this keyframe. And you know what, I want it, whoops, let's go in here. I'm going to open up the actions, and on this last frame I'm just going to hit stop. Oops. Okay, and if I want to go ahead and debug it, now I've got an action, a stop action. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to go back to the control. I'm going to test my movie. We're going to hope it goes through the scrubs, the timeline. And there it stops. So what happens now, you'll notice that I have in here, this is where when we look at our, let me get this up. When we look at this, we see the black lines. Everything within the black is visible, anything outside it is not. So that's masking, and it's pretty simple. You can probably think of tons and tons of ways to do this. It's really not hard to do at all, but it's one of those cool little techniques that gives you something to put on your website or create or construct or do something different with. You could probably think of lots of ways to mask. Lots of websites do it when they put signatures up, or they do some type of laser effect. They've already got it set out, and then as the mask rolls over the signature, it starts to show the signature, starts to show a line, or you can see different ways where we have lines showing up, and usually what it is it's a mask going over it. This is masking, so what I want you to do is put together an exercise and show me how you've masked something. It doesn't take a lot to show that you know how to do this, but I want you to go in and save it as your last name _ mask, and then send that with all your other homework for this week to me. This was masking. It's pretty simple. If you have any questions, email me and we can talk about it.